Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing today? My name is RODGON. I'm an artist. I'm a designer. I'm a cartoonist. I draw cartoons, illustrations in general. And today, I am your instructor. So, hello. Welcome to the class. Today, we're going to be drawing heads. Why? Well, because I really enjoy drawing heads. Plus, there's like little tiny things that I love teaching that help people just understand the faces a little bit more. And I want to talk about them a little bit more with you guys. So if you guys are going to plan to stay for a class today, I would highly recommend that you guys grab a sketchbook. I would highly recommend that you guys grab something to draw with or something to draw on and get ready to learn a couple fun techniques that are going to help you draw a little bit better. Do you do this every day? What time are your classes? My classes start at around normally at around 8:30. Normally. But today I woke up late. So you guys got me a little bit later. So, why am I qualified to teach you guys how to draw? Well, I am qualified to teach how to illustrate in general because I have been an illustrator for about 20 years of my career. I have survived in this world of arts a lot longer than most of my peers, and I don't seem to have lost the love for it yet. So, being able to share a little bit of that with you guys tends to bring me a lot of joy. It makes me really happy to share my stuff with you guys. Not because I get more noticed, not because I get seen more, not because I'm popular, mostly because I just want to have buddies to draw with. And I've always wanted a sketch group. But unfortunately, I'm also a person that doesn't like to go out much because I just don't trust people. So doing so in a controlled manner, like this, allows me to bring forth as much of my personality as possible without feeling overwhelmed, and it allows me a chance to be able to share my knowledge with you guys. So that is who I am. The reason that I do this is because I'm tired of seeing people fail. And I'm tired of seeing people around me fail because they just don't know how to draw. That is normally it. They just stop because they don't know how to do something. And then their whole like career and dreams and stuff like that gone. Right? So my goal very early in life was to try to teach as much as I could so that people wouldn't have to struggle like I did. I am not a naturally talented artist. I'm not, by any means. I was not born in the womb with the ability to draw. I was not gifted with that ability. I, however, am a persistent asshole. I am a very competitive person too. So when someone tells me I can't do something, my instinct isn't to run away. My instinct is to be like, oh yeah? I can't do this? Let me show you. Let's see how impossible your task is. And even though it has taken a while, I have developed ways to be able to draw in various different ways, to discover your style, to discover different styles, to break every style. And even though it's another technique, another way of seeing things, so it's not complete, because there's other ways of seeing things that might be better for you. Everybody draws a little bit different. I will go ahead and give you guys our lesson plan once we get to 5K. Once we get to 5K likes, I will begin our lesson plan. That'll be our entry point most of the days. So if you guys are wondering why we haven't started. So hit that like button. Show me some love. Tell me how cool I am. I am an ego-driven human being. Just like most of us. Every single one of us is an ego-driven human. You guys do art. You don't do art to blend in. Nobody does art to blend in. Okay? Nobody. You do art to stand out. You want to stand out. You don't want to be normal. So if we get past that shit, and we get past the whole bullshit of us trying to be all humble and stuff, we can actually learn to actually get what we want out of whatever situation. You want friendships? Be humble. You want clients? Be cocky. That's simple. It really is that simple. You need to learn the balance of being cocky with clients and very humble with the people that are your peers. Because you don't want to be the arrogant prick that nobody wants to work with. But you want to be an arrogant prick when it comes down to getting chosen from between you and other artists. It's a very interesting dynamic that happens. When artists compete, it's very interesting. Because there's so much ego and emotion sometimes when it comes down to drawing. Oh, we broke the limit. Okay, well, we're going to teach you guys schools in a second. So, the basic part of drawing, the hardest part about drawing is actually being able to see what's underneath our drawing. Being able to see things like where the eyeballs and the eye sockets and stuff like that go is very important in being able to determine not just storytelling and design, but to be able to tell the story the way we want it. Not just the way that we can draw it, but the way that we want to show it. So if you want a character with details like mustaches and stuff like that, that's great. If you want to make them curly, you need to learn a little perspective. If you want to make them stylized, you need to go look at people that have beards. Okay? If you want to create some cool facial hair, body hair, hairstyling, it's not about learning like a technique for them. A lot of these things are just about going out into the real world and looking at people that use them. And then just asking for a split second so you can sketch them. Imagine that you are in the wild, right? Whenever you are like out and about, you're in the wild. You're like in nature. Anyone you draw is just another specimen. Anyone that you manage to capture, it's just another person or a little animal, a little Pokemon. Imagine you're a Pokemon hunter, but you're not hunting Pokemon, you're hunting people. And every time that you draw one, you have a different one in your Humidex. Or in this case, what we would call a sketchbook. And as you get more comfy with features, you're going to start naturally trying to have more fun with your designs. The thing is, you can't have fun with something you don't understand, right? You can't dissect something you don't understand. So if you don't understand perspective, you can't draw things in different angles. If you don't understand anatomy at all, like if you have no understanding of anatomy, it's going to be really hard for you to understand why certain body parts go around certain things, right? Why the cheekbone is here. Ooh, why is that line there? It's because, well, that's the division of your eye socket. And your eye socket holds your eyeball. And muscles go over the eye socket. And cheekbones and stuff like that get covered with muscle. So sometimes it's not even the cheekbone, it's the actual muscle. And then from there, understanding the relationship of other elements next to that and understanding how to connect them like a puzzle piece is the most hard part about drawing. It's not about how detailed you can draw your eyes. It's about learning where things fall within your structure. For example, the jaw doesn't go up and down. It goes sideways a little bit. That gives you the angle to make it not a complete straight line for your jaw. And that's okay because jaws don't do that. Okay? The distance between the spine and the jaw, this is the same distance as the connecting point to your rib cage. So you can just do that. Check this out. Spine, right? Spine. Whatever shape head you want. Whatever shape head. Let's draw a circle for simplicity's sake. From here, draw an oval to the front of that circle. This same size, replicate it down here. Taper it, and you have yourself a head. Okay? The neck is not as hard as we always make it out to be. The neck is actually quite simple. It's a cylinder. But people don't know where to connect it, so they freak out and they just draw weird stuff. Like in order to get to the knowledge, like to try to replicate knowledge, we come up with a quadrillion different variations of style instead of just learning how to actually draw that. Like you guys will come with like a quadrillion reasons not to draw the actual muscles, but you guys will memorize a quadrillion different styles from different artists to be able to actually draw it. It baffles me. It confuses me. It really does blow my brain like out of the water whenever somebody tells me that. Especially when the neck in itself is just this. Learn to do this, okay? Draw a circle. Draw two eyes. And draw a smile. Now, this seems easy, right? But when I ask you to rotate this around an entire circle, it might not be as easy. If I was asking you to take this and look 3/4 up, would you be able to easily do that? If you can, fantastic. Let's go to the next level. The next level is adding features that have volume, aka circles, nose, mouth, chin. Okay? If you can keep that and do that same thing, circle, 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 right? It's all circles pretty much. The eyes don't have to be all wonky. If you can do it at this level, and you can rotate this in any direction you want, at this level, congratulations. That's actually quite decent. From there, you use the mapping points that you achieve after you find your ears, and you have your chin. Okay? Once you find your ears and your chin, your jaw is just ear. But this wraps around, remember? Ear to ear to the chin. And a lot of the times, you don't even need to see that much. So once you understand where your features are in space, you can go ear to chin to ear. And it becomes a lot easier. I have a student group on Facebook called the Students of RODGON. What? That's a thing? That is funny. That's awesome, by the way. So that is how you can use that to be able to draw your faces from other angles. You need to learn at simple stages like this before you can just use little techniques like I'm going to show you right now. Okay? Before you start jumping into little techniques like this, learn to draw it simply. Because otherwise you're going to get used to drawing through technique and not through actual knowledge. And if you start doing that, it's going to look good, but you will end up not really knowing what you're doing. And that is not the concept here. That's not the business. That ain't what we are all about here, okay? We are here to teach you and help you understand what you're drawing. This same circle, replicate it, taper it, you have yourself a neck. Okay? It's not overly complicated. The reason the circle works really nicely is because the circle leads to the compass. If you draw a compass, now you have 1, 2, 3 parts. That helps you divide the next part into 4. So now this part right here gets divided into 4. This becomes your shoulders, that becomes your pectoral muscles, and then you can start going down your arm by just going whoop, 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 whoop. Ta-da. So you go 3 into 1, 2, 3, 4 for proportions. And then this little circle also gives you an egg. That gives you your rib cage. And then a simple circle at the bottom of your rib cage. A circle. Just split a circle in half. You have yourself a belly button, and you have yourself some hip bones. Yo. So. Ooh, barely fit. So being able to draw is not super complicated. You just need to be taught right. And that's what I try to do. Boop, boop, boom. So we're drawing heads today, but I just wanted to show you guys how the body connects in itself. Let's draw more heads. I've been using Pinterest a lot for this. Like, I like Pinterest because it's just like, it's just so easy. All right, hold on. I'm waiting on, oh, there you go. Finally, they send the contract. Finally. So I've been waiting on Marvel to send over a contract forever. And it's been a week. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm not going to send you artwork without you sending me a goddamn contract. Like, why would I send you anything without sending you a contract? Like, I don't give a fuck if you're Marvel. Like, I don't give two shits who you are. Like, you came to me. You know, like, I'm not going to be, like, begging you for anything. And then, like, the guy went out of town or something like that. And then he came back. He's like, oh, you haven't sent the files? I'm like, no. You never sent a contract. Oh, they never sent it out. Oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, I'm not a child here. I'm not a fucking beginner. Like, I'm not desperate to work for you, first of all. I'm not like dying. It would be a nice accolade to have, but it by no means that I'm desperate or anything to be able to do it for anything. It's for free or anything. So no. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'll send it over later. Oh. And I'm like, okay, well then you get your artwork depending on when you send it. Like you're not, I'm not gonna like jump through hoops for you. But then they sent it right away. Don't let people walk over you. Don't let people ever dictate like shit for you. If you don't feel comfortable, it doesn't matter who the company is. Don't allow yourself to be like made to feel like you're not worth it or like they're rushing you because that's techniques, guys. Those are techniques for people. Those are things people do to like make people feel a little bit less valuable, a little bit less like powerful during negotiations and stuff like that. People do that on purpose. I used to do that on purpose. I used to be one of those people. When I was working in corporate, I used to hire people and I had to do that sort of stuff. That's why I know this stuff. Okay? We constantly pit people against each other in a lot of different ways, and it's a lot of the ways that you might not even know. Like my categories for hiring people were, well, very strict, honestly. That's why I never really found people. It was really hard. I would just rather train someone that's willing. Like I'd rather train a blank slate than hire somebody, honestly. I don't have resentment of Marvel at all. I just don't like it when people don't send contracts and expect work at all. Like at all. Like I wouldn't let Disney, Pixar, or anybody else either. Like nobody that's doing business with me is gonna do business with me if they don't send contracts. Like there's absolutely no reason to make a company free work. A corporation does not require you to deliver free work. A corporation's making millions of dollars. They're fine. They don't need to save on you delivering something. Right? So don't worry about them. They'll be fine. Worry about you. Cuz you need to learn, you need to make money, you need to live. They'll be fine. They ain't going nowhere. They'll thrive regardless of you. Ooh, this guy's funny. He has big ears. When did I start drawing? He started drawing around 15 plus years ago. Yeah, I was like, I started college for this. That was in 2002. But I went to school for like 3D animation because I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know what I wanted. So it was just a big waste of money because I never really pursued 3D animation. I should have just gone into illustration or something else, but I didn't do any research, you know? So I just went into a shit ton of debt for no reason. For no reason at all. Because I could have just gone to an illustration school instead of an animation school, and I would have learned what I needed, what I wanted. But I signed up for the wrong thing because I was dumb. I was a dumb child, and I didn't know any better, right? When they allow you to take $100,000 loan as an 18-year-old kid that doesn't really know what they want, and they expect that to be paid off with artwork. You understand that? Like, do you understand the simple implication that if you do go to art school, you have to pay that back with your art? A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. A lot of people do not take that into consideration. And then they spend their entire lives paying back a loan, and they never even get to touch the jobs that they want because they're in survival mode from that point on. It's terrifying. It's fucking terrifying. Like, it's absolutely like abhorrent. Like, for me, I don't even know if that's a word. But yeah, it's just like terrifying that people would do stuff like that without really understanding what they're getting into. And my goal here is to try to lessen that, right? My goal is to make sure that, like, if you want to be able to create, you want to be able to draw, you have a resource that's not going to drain you out of all your money and your hopes and your dreams down the line, because shit's hard, dude. This is hard. This stuff is difficult. This is not easy. I make it look easy sometimes, but this is not easy. This is stuff that people search their entire lives for. Sometimes they don't achieve it. But I'm giving you guys a fighting chance. I'm giving you guys an open door to the knowledge. You just have to go search for it now. And I hear I'm a good teacher. He changed his pen. This guy's gonna get good. You are a very good teacher. Thank you. I appreciate it. Why do you use highlighter? Why not? It's cheap. I can get it anywhere. I can get it in multiples, right? If I can get it in multiples and I can use this to shade, why not? The pink ones are really, really nice for shading. You don't really need a lot of detail. You just need a little bit of contrast in your drawings. If you add a little bit of contrast, your drawings stand out a millionfold more. I don't need to add a lot of detail, just enough with a little bit of contrast. By doing that, a tiny bit of contrast, the drawings just pop. A tiny bit. I don't need much. I don't need every color scale in a Copic like marker set. I just need a tiny bit of contrasting. And you can make something stand out amazing if you know what you're doing. Your work's awesome, man. I'm a tattoo artist, and you're right. This shit is hard. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, like anybody that thinks that art as a living is easy is pretty dumb. Honestly, I'm just gonna say it like that. Anybody that thinks art in general for a living is gonna be easy is kind of dumb. And it's fine. You can be kind of dumb and still have a happy life. You just kind of you can't go the whole way. You know, you have to, like, you gotta balance that. You can be a dumb person. I'm a dumb person, but I balance it out by being decent at one thing. Nothing is teaching. So if you're gonna do something silly like go into artwork for a living, you need to be equally silly with your convictions in life. So you need to understand that your life is going to be a little different than other people's. You're not going to end up having the same milestones that they do. Okay? A lot of the times going into art does not equate with a big paycheck. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you get lucky and you get like a decent paying job. But most of the time you don't. Most of the time you don't. And that's just the reality of things. You just don't. Most of the time, every single department and every single company will try to skim on the actual design aspect of things. It's just how it works. And when you become a person that has been in a company for very long, you become unpayable, as in they don't want to pay a certain amount for an experienced designer. They'd rather just get a cheap designer that just came out of college. So eventually, you will price yourself out of a job. It's going to happen. It happens with every company. It's going to hit you like a truck, and you're going to not expect it. And when you do that, when you devote yourself so much to a company and you don't put any resources or energy towards yourself, that's when you end up feeling the grunt of things. That is when you're like, oh, shit, I don't have a company to give me a paycheck. How am I going to live? And that's where I come in. That's what I teach. That's what I am able to provide from an artist's point of view. That is the knowledge that I give. So if you guys want to listen to my rants, you guys might learn a thing or two about just surviving without having to struggle too much. Do you have any advice for starting to do commissions? Yeah. Find something that you are willing to do every day that you feel comfortable enough charging. So I don't care what that is. It might be crocheting, might be like, I don't know, printmaking. It could be like, I don't know, anything. Anything that you find that does not bore the living hell out of you, that allows you to provide something of value to someone else, that is always just going to be a good recipe for success when it comes down to wanting to make money. Because you're not going to bore yourself to death, and you're not going to be doing things that you don't want to do. Okay? So that's number one. Understanding that you need to actually like the shit that you're doing. Otherwise, what's the point? Right? If you don't like it, if you don't want to do something you like, then go work at fucking Target. Like honestly, just go work at a job where you're going to have some fun friends and talk shit with people about management. If you want a fun job, don't do this. This gets really, 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 really not fun really quickly. The moment that you realize this is going to be the toughest part for you guys to understand, especially if you haven't done this for a living. But the moment that you have to associate your living, as in your money, your food, your expenses, your entertainment, when all that stuff gets associated with you creating art, right? My food, my movies. I want to draw some seeds. A little theater. Everything that I want to do, even go on dates. You know, whenever I have a partner, I need to take into consideration how much can I actually afford, because my money comes in different sprouts. So it doesn't matter what aspect of life I'm doing. All this has to come from my art. And that was a terrifying notion for me because I was horrible. That making this the sole source for my income has been a terribly, completely terrifying thing to go into. And I'm not going to lie about that. Being employed is easy. Having an employer, that's easy. Just do whatever they ask of you and collect your paycheck. Done. Oh, you want Photoshop? Yeah, cool. Oh, you want some? Oh, cool. You want some pamphlets? Sure. Whatever you want. Collect your paycheck at the end of the 2 weeks. get your benefits, whatever, and then just call it a fucking day. Go home, draw your comic. If you don't have kids or anything, you're good, dude. Create on your own time, whatever. That's another way too. But doing this and understanding that all your money has to come from all my money comes from teaching, guys. Right now, my income comes from this. It comes from teaching, giving lessons and selling courses and stuff like that. That is what I have to use to be able to make money. So it's, again, a terrifying notion. It's absolutely fucking terrifying sometimes. So that is something that doesn't get told to you before you decide to make it a career, right? So a lot of people go into it with like big dreams and happy hearts, and they're like, yay, I'm going to make it in this industry. I'm going to be the next Walt Disney. Woohoo! And they have their sketchbook and their pocket full of dreams, right? And then they realize, oh shit, what the fuck did I get into? Because it's not an easy career at all. At all. Like you're gonna see your friends like doing other things, like having kids, and you're gonna be like, how can they afford that? How can they do that? How can they have 10 kids when you don't even have enough money to pay for your rent? And you're gonna be like, wow, they can buy cars, and then you're gonna be like, if you're not doing well, you're gonna feel like you did something wrong, right? And that comparison is heavy. It's really fucking heavy, and like it's really tough to deal with sometimes. But you know what we do every day? Every day that we wake up and we get to make our money with our artwork, it might be stressful, but we get to create dreams every day. Every single day that you get up and you have an air of creation, you are using your baby superpower. And that little baby superpower is to make things beautiful. Regardless of the surface or the talkic or whatever, I'm pretty sure that every one of you guys watching me right now has the ability to draw, even if it's very simple. You get to wake up every day instead of having to go to work to to an office that you hate with coffee that's stale and creamer that doesn't taste good anymore. I don't know why you stopped liking it, but vanilla doesn't taste the same no more. You go there and you're like, oh my God. But then you get that piece of paper in front of you, right? And you're like, ooh. And then you start doodling things. And you just start drawing things. In general, you're marking this with the visions of your brain. Everything that you're drawing is just images, hallucinations from your brain. You're creating something from nothing. And understanding that even though it is stressful, you get to do what everyone that goes to work, what they dream of. All these people, they look to you and the TVs and the comics and everything. They look for people like us that dedicate our lives to this so that they can be entertained for a couple hours. Without us doing this little dedicated stint of being crazy and following our hallucinations into our financial ruin sometimes, us doing that allows the entire population to actually be able to survive. Because without entertainment, populations just die. Or they kill each other, Lord of the Flies style. So without us to hold the glue together, society falls apart. So you can do it. You can see it like that. And yeah, it's just life in general is very different than what people think it is, right? When you want to make life anything your passion, you need to be so overly almost obsessed with it so that you can actually succeed. It's it's just really tough to explain to people that can't or won't do what is needed, and then they still want the results from somebody that does. That's just not how it works. This guy's pretty funny too. I think I just find people with big ears funny. Doopity. This guy has like one weird, crazy eye. And then the other eye is kind of like tucked in. Yeah, he does kind of have like two side eyes. And then he has his hair is kind of like flat on top. It's like an old military cut. And then his hair just kind of just fades in. Darken the upper line of the eye to represent eyelashes. Give the nose a little bit of color so it stands out, creating a focal point. These little lines that go around the side become our cheekbones. So that's where our cheekbone comes from. Our eyebrow will always indicate the side of our face. Wherever our eyebrow is, that is going to always indicate the end of the curvy into the flat. Okay, so between that and the cheekbone, you end up getting all the little lumps that happen. Bum, bum, bum. Next. Ooh, this guy looks cool. This guy has like a super sharp looking face. Remember, circle. If you draw that circle all the way to the back, if you replicate that circle on the bottom where you want to connect to the neck, you can just go, whoop. Just saying. Boom, boom. Chin. Then I'm going to draw my midline for my face, and then I'm going to draw a triangle to represent my nose, and then that dot to draw a little pyramid so I can get the perspective for my nose. Then I can draw my nose in whatever style that I need. That little triangle is also going to give me my cheekbone into my mouth pocket. That triangle is also going to give me a pocket going up and a way to connect it back to my side. Maybe a little bit too big. This is going to be the edge of my eyebrow, which means that's the side of my face. This is my teeth line. And my lips go around my teeth. Cool. Do, 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 do. Yeah. And then he has super big collar. And he's looking at you sideways. So, I'd love to see my favorite character lose from the Owl House in your cute art style. Well, you could always commission me to do something like that. I don't do any fan art on request, mostly because unless I like the character, unless I'm personally like a fan of the character, I don't really like drawing other people's shit. It's really weird, man. It really is a matter of just drawing the things that I like. And it's like I've done everybody else's drawings for so long that sometimes it does make me like go like ugh when somebody asks me to draw something. It's not that I don't want to sometimes. It's just that quite frankly, it's just I've done it for so long that it's just lost its appeal. Like I just don't enjoy creating that much like that sort of stuff for other people anymore. It's just I don't know. Commissions that I do, like the caricatures that I do for commissions, they're under my control, right? Like I get to dictate exactly how they come out and nobody gets a say in them. Like you are literally getting a gotcha caricature. Let's see, that's a little bit not enough cheekbone on this side. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so those caricatures are I give you three topics. So you get to choose three words. Three words and you send me three pictures. And then whatever comes out of that, that's what you get. And I love doing that because then I have more fun with it. Right? If I have more fun with it, you guys get a lot cooler artwork. And if I'm bored because you guys want a very boring topic, trust me, I've done caricatures for a very long time. People come up with the most boring things in the world, right? So they're like, oh, I would like me and my kids just running around. I'm like, no, how about we make you guys astronauts fighting evil aliens? You know, like how about we like make you guys like into like My Little Ponies from the apocalypse, and then we just like have you guys fighting off Care Bears that turn into zombies. You know, like let's make it fun. You know, like give me something to work with. Like that is what I want to do. Those are the sort of commissions I like doing. Something that would like be like the coolest cover for like I don't know, like an adventure book. Like I don't care about drawing your portrait of you for your graduation. Sort of stuff like that. It's like incredibly boring to me. But tell me that you want to be drawn graduating in a Star Wars uniform, fighting Darth Vader while you know, like Princess Leia is just there sitting at your doorstep. Cool. Let's go. I live for a challenge. If it's easy, I don't want it. If it's easy, I don't care for it. I don't like even if it's easy money. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, just draw the easiest thing in the world, and I'll give you mine." Like, no, 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 no. See, I can't take money to the grave. What? I can't take money to the grave. And if I'm spending all my time doing shit for money and I'm not spending enough time doing things to live my life, then I'm wasting my life. The meaning of life is the passage of time. Right? How are you passing your time? That's in all reality, that is the meaning of life. The meaning of your life will be how you pass your time. Did you pass it waiting around for something to happen? Did you spend it creating something beautiful for the world to see? Did you spend it being an absolute dick to waiters? You know, like, how did you spend your life? The meaning of life doesn't have to be this grandiose thing for everybody. Everybody's going to have a different meaning. But for me, it's the passage of time. How am I passing my time? If I'm spending it in an office, locked up, where I can only look up for the weekends, I'm wasting my life. That's why I'm not even kidding. This is something that I don't necessarily say often, but the only few times that I've thought about literally myself, like sending myself to the other like side of the spectrum was when I felt so unhappy creating things for other people. That was the only time in my life that I actually felt like just ending it. I felt like my purpose in life was gone. I felt like I was using my skills to create crap for Amazon. And I was like, I can't do this, dude. I didn't go to school. I didn't waste my life trying to be a better artist so that I could do crap like this. And when, like I decided, I was like, yeah, I was riding my motorcycle one day and I was like, it would take 2 seconds. That's all it would take. And thoughts like that scare me sometimes because of how easily they come to my brain. Now, if you add like being in a shitty relationship and stuff like that at the time, you end up in a very bad state of mind. So what we do, it's very hard to explain to other people why it's so important. It's very hard. It's incredibly hard to explain to anyone why we do what we like and why we obsess over it the way we do. And they don't need to. They don't need to understand. They don't need to. People need to understand one thing. It's important. You are the one that need to prioritize it enough. If it is important enough for you, you need to prioritize it over things that aren't important to you. And you need to learn those values of those things really soon, because that changes your whole path. If you surround yourself with people that are supportive, you're going to have a great outlook on things. If you surround yourself with people that keep on saying oh, you'll never get nothing, man, because they can't do anything. The moment that you allow other people's input in life to dictate yours, well, that's going to be a tough life for you too. Because negativity and stupidity are like diseases. And if you surround yourself with enough people with that, you end up getting sick as well. Do you have a main stuff you wanted to do as an artist? No. Honestly, my goal as an artist has always been to just be able to draw enough so I could draw myself doing fun things. That is the reason that I joined, because I wanted to be able to journal my life. I wanted to be an artist so that I could journal my life and I'd be able to draw myself doing fun things. Not for the entertainment of other people. I never gave two fucks about actually making money to do things. I was that dumb kid that just signed up because it was fun. I had to figure out a lot of things along the way so that that mistake wouldn't ruin my life. But it was a mistake that I made, and luckily it worked out for a lot of people because now I teach people. But that was a complete mistake. I should not have gone to art school, and I got hustled into going so. And since that didn't really ruin me, that doesn't mean that it's still a good thing for people to do. It's just a terrifying notion to spend so much money at such a young age trying to make it into a career where you probably have no idea what you're getting yourself into. It's so scary. It's honestly scary. Bought a sketchbook on a whim yesterday. Thanks for the inspo. Yay! Art school? No, the thing is, art school puts you in a box. They tell you, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And then, the things that you can do, the overly competition just drives you fucking insane. Because the few things that you are allowed to do, now you're competing against people that are, probably better than you. And you're like, I need to know how I can get work. Please. Just one smidgen of knowledge. Please. Just a little. And sometimes it does feel like that because they don't teach you contracts. They don't teach you how to survive outside of being employed. So that's why art school is really tough. Okay? Because you're responsible for your knowledge about how to survive. And that is sometimes a scary notion to think about, dude. Because again, most of the time, the kids are like 18, 19, 17 sometimes. And it's just so scary to understand that they're responsible now for debts that would cripple a doctor. Ta-da. So yeah, that is why I don't like art school. And that's why I want to, like, not gonna lie, I want to go and I want to do like a Kickstarter, right? So I can pay for art school and then teach everything they give you. I've been thinking about this for a while. So go to art school, get a master's degree, but as a payment for anybody that donates, I will provide every lesson that they provide in explained by a good teacher. Me. And so then everybody gets a master's degree. You get a master's degree in education. I get a master's degree in education. And then, yeah, just go and I stream after every class. And then that is my payment for you guys. And I think that would be a fantastic way, again, to pass the time. Because the meaning of life is the passage of time. Color would be the only hard part to teach. No, it wouldn't. At all. If I just had a wake on, like, instead of going here on my sketchbook, if I just decided to go onto my computer, I can teach you guys everything. But the thing is, a lot of people don't like seeing people on the computer. It's very interesting. It's very funny. Like, if people don't see themselves able to do what you do, they don't want to learn from you. It's very funny. It's very funny how that works. Hey, Rod, can you explain foreshortening but with arms? Oh, yeah. Sure. Let's do that. So, arms, right? So let's draw a basic character. I like doing my basic characters like this. Ba-bum. The head a little bit smaller than the body. And a little circle about this wide as that. And a little compass. So that is my head, my basic heads. My arms would normally come down from here, and then the volume for my arm would be come in, and you'd have an arm just going down your body. If I wanted to move this arm, I can move it this way. I can move it anywhere the compass goes, right? Wherever my compass moves, my arm goes. So that's really cool to know, right? Understanding that you have the ability to draw a little compass and the outside edge marks the outside of your arm. So you just got to bring it back in. So that's step one, understanding how your body connects to your body. So now let's say that we have the same character, but we want to twist them a little bit. So that compass maybe on this side gets a little bit bigger because it's coming a little bit towards us. Same thing with legs can happen. If your legs get bigger, they're coming towards you. If they're smaller, they're away from you. Okay? The same thing happens with arms. If your arm is going to be away from you, it gets smaller. You can draw a straight line from one to the other, and so you know exactly how and where to go. You don't have to guess these things. If you want it to be here, you can move that into any direction you want, as long as you have access to the other hand. And it's going to keep it relevant to the sizing. So the closer you are, the more overlapped it gets. And sometimes it gets to the point where it overlaps your entire body. So now doing it with arms is kind of complicated sometimes because a lot of people overcomplicate arms a lot. Okay? If we have a compass for this part of the body, the neck and the rib cage and stuff. Okay? So from here, we got to find this circle that connects to the body. Once we find this little circle, it kind of looks like a noodle at the top of your rib cage too. Okay? Once we find that circle, drawing ovals and connecting the edges becomes really easy. Drawing two ovals and connecting the edges becomes relatively simple. Remembering that the compass changes depending on where your arm goes is going to help you understand how to draw arms in all sorts of shapes and fashions. Okay? And then these little circles, if you want to make them come towards you, you make them bigger. Overlap them. Want to make them go and be smaller? See what I mean? So understanding how to move something in space is going to be a matter of connecting three circles. The circle that connects to the body, the circle for your intersection, and the circle for your wrist. Make them ovals and they're going to look a lot nicer. Oval, bigger oval, bigger oval. And to our hand pointing down. And that applies for everything from legs to arms, but you also need to learn anatomy. So you need to learn not just that, but you need to learn how to overlap your shapes. And you need to learn to do that with other parts like your fingers as well. So that is why it's hard. You'll get there eventually, but it's going to come gradually. It's not going to just happen overnight. All right, so we have a little bit of space left. We can either draw more Pinterest faces, or we can answer a question or two from you guys. Let's draw this crazy kid. This weird kid is like, he has like crazy eyes. It's like super deep set eyes for a kid. Then he has a little tiny nose. And he has this little... And big ears too. All the people have big ears today. Little chin, keeps him looking young. And he has a big forehead. Yay. Could you explain the anatomy of faces as you draw them, please? Sure, I can walk you guys through the anatomy of a face. All right, so let's walk you guys through the drawing of a face. Let me find someone that's cool. Wheel of Pinterest. Turn, turn, turn. Who is the person that I will draw? Ooh, this guy looks funny. Okay, this guy's interesting. Okay, I like him. So, first, come up with your general head shape, right? The general head shape doesn't have to be the circle and the diamond thing. This doesn't have to be the head shape, okay? This is not a standard. You don't, everybody has that shape of head. Some people have it taller, some people are wider. Just find the general shape for your head, okay? If it's wide, look at it like an egg. Look at it like a squishy ball. Like sometimes people have like a lot of cheeks. So sometimes they look like little dimples. You know, sometimes they look really skinny. People come in all sorts of shapes. So stop thinking that people come in one shape. They don't do that shit, okay? Then the next thing that I would think is, okay, first, the general shape of the head. I'm going to decide that this is the general shape of the head. Then the next thing I would do is find my midline. Again, I don't just draw lines going up and down. I am thinking of the front and the back of my shape. So I'm drawing a circle in there. It might be a really thin circle, maybe almost insignificant in size and width, but it's still a circle. The reason that I need to do that is so I can find my spine later. So I have the front of my face, but if I go around my shape, I have my spine. And my spine is going to help me understand how to draw the connecting point to my neck. Okay? So that is why we learn to just draw through our shape from the very beginning. From there, I'm going to decide a triangle. The triangle is going to be giving me most of the details for my face. But the top of this triangle is going to be where my eyeballs sit. That is going to be, this is essentially the basic schematic that you're going to end up with. Kind of looks like a robot. Okay? From there, you're going to go up and around your eyeball. Up and around your eyeball. And then here, you have your eye ridge for your eye socket. So that could be your eyebrows. At the edge of your eyebrow to the side of your face, you end up with the flat side and the curvy side. From here, you have your cheekbone already established, and you take your cheekbone to whatever width chin you want. That gives you the side of your face. From there, my ear is going to fall anywhere around 1/3 of my head shape. So in between my eyebrows and the bottom of my base, that's normally where my ear is going to fall. Somewhere around there. If they have like the cartilage of the ear or earrings or something like that, that falls underneath that. Then from there, my triangle for my nose allows me to draw a nose really easy by drawing a dot wherever I need my nose to be, and I connect all 3 points. And it gives me a nice little pyramid that I can use for my nose. So I can do that in any direction I feel like, and it's really easy. It gives me a top and a bottom, and that's normally more than enough information that I need to be able to draw something decent like a nose. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so from there, a dot, connect them, have a nose. Dope. All right, magical triangle. What else can you teach me? Well, that triangle can also give you your teeth line. So if you take the edges of that triangle and you go down to your chin, that's your teeth. So from there, you can draw around your teeth, and you already have the space for the negative space. Cool. So now you don't have to guess where your teeth are. You're drawing your mouth around your skeletal system. Now, these are your eyeballs. And then you need eyelids. So the eyelid goes around the eyeball. So you don't draw the entire eyeball unless you have the eye completely open. The rest of the eyeball becomes your eyelid. Add whatever styling you want to the upper line right here. So your eyes will be two lines. It's going to be your eyeball, right? And then it's going to be two lines. One curvy line that goes over it and has the styling, like all the eyelashes and shit. And then you're going to draw a thinner line that intersects it. And that's it. That's it. That's eyes in general. That's it. It's so easy. One curvy line that's thick, one intersecting line that's not so thick, and then add your style around that. It's not overly complicated. Oh, he said shit. I cuss a lot, dude. It happens. It's just part of me. Like, I'm sorry. It's just gonna happen. I'm not even gonna try to like pretend like it's gonna be any different. It's just me. So put me on timeout, call me potty mouth, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, I hate having to talk differently because that's just not who I am. Again, I like being me, right? I like being unapologetically me. And if I can't be that, then I don't want to be around those people that don't let me be that. I know. I know you're just being silly. Don't worry. But it's just a good, it's good to know that. Like, know what you are willing to actually, like, do, what things you're not willing to do, and then just stick to them. And you guys will see your careers flourish. Like, it's really funny. Like, the less you care about other people, the more people want to be a part of who you are. Yeah, these spaces are tiny, dude. It's the size of my thumb. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I don't draw too big because, I mean, I can. The bigger you draw, the more detail you can put in. But I'm teaching, you know? I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to show you guys examples. Like, I'm not desperately here trying to, like, draw a majestic piece of art. It's more like trying to show you guys examples of how this works and why it works. But yeah, you can draw bigger so you can add more detail into stuff. Again, once you have the mapping point, everything else just becomes how you want to establish the detail. So it could be more comic bookish, realism type of situation. Or if you want to go more along the routes of a very cartoony shape, you know, it's all there. You can do either. Because it's not very different from each other. Believe it or not, it's not. And when you learn to visualize things, you stop worrying about how things are supposed to look and you get a chance to be creative. So again, I draw small because I'm teaching you. Me pulling back and from drawing really cool stuff, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like me drawing a cool drawing that you guys can't replicate means that you guys are gonna go home feeling unfulfilled, right? If I keep drawing things that are so majestic that you guys feel like you guys can't do, then I'm failing as a teacher. I fail as a teacher every time that you guys don't feel inspired to go draw after my lessons. So I don't want to sit here and just create awesome artwork because it brings nobody any pleasure, and like my ego is already boosted. So it's not like I need more ego boosting. Okay. I don't need my ego boosted even more. So for me, drawing like I do is more of a, the reason I do it is for educational purposes, not because that's the extent of my talent. And that is hilarious to me sometimes when I get messages, because people are hateful. People are mean. Like I'm starting to get to the point where people acknowledge what I'm doing, but they don't really feel like I'm getting the notoriety due to deservedness or something, and they get really upset and they leave really mean comments sometimes. And I like to like combat trolls, so it's really fun. I love being that guy that's like, ooh, explain. Ooh, please tell me why my stuff is bad. Ooh, not like being butthurt, but just like I grew up in the 90s, dude. Like I like fighting trolls. I like it. I argue with them people on purpose sometimes just because it's fun. Like when people get like they get it really twisted. They think that they're upsetting me. In my brain, I'm like, do you admire any artists? There is artists that I cherish, not because I admire. Like this is something really weird to explain to, and it's not a cockiness thing. It's not. It's a self defense thing more than anything. I don't go around feeling and like admiring other people because I don't ever want to feel like I can't do something. So instead of, I do cherish people and I do like, commend their abilities and stuff, but I don't fangirl over people. Instead of that, I see people like a measure to get to, right? So, for example, when I was like thinking about getting into pinups and stuff like that, I was like, "Ooh, I need to get at least to the level of a couple people before me, so I can actually feel like I accomplished something." Right? So before I got to that level, before I understood, let's say, how to draw a really cute little face, really simple. Like if I didn't understand how to draw a nice little cute like proportional pinup face, I knew that I'd never be able to draw that for like commissions and stuff like that for people at conventions. So I learned how to draw really cute little pinup girls so that I could actually draw them in my books and stuff like that. There was a reason for me wanting to learn to do this, right? So I wanted to do that so I could go, RODGON, and then just be that part of my signature. So, but the confidence level didn't come until I actually started understanding what I was doing. When I started learning anatomy, I was like, oh, all those issues of learning where the little bumps go, like how far the issues, the lines, everything, all that stuff disappears from you because you fill that with knowledge. So it ends up being that that's the key. It's just knowledge. The key is knowledge. It's not drawing more. It's not sitting there for hours looking at a person's tutorial. No, it's knowledge. It's knowledge and finding the teacher that explains it in a way that you can see it. That's it. That is the secret. And sometimes you have to be your own teacher because other people aren't there to teach you. So if you have to be your own teacher, you just try to find the best resources you can and then try to make the most out of it by trying to implement your own knowledge, your own understanding, your own comprehension, your own imagination. And eventually, if you have what it takes and you have the gills that it requires to stick to it, then you just one day emerge coming out the other side. And it feels good. How do you come up with different head shapes? You just draw a different head shape. Instead of doing your basic generic shape like this, try this. Right. Try this. Try something different and you'll get a different result. Try the same shit all the time, you're gonna always end up with the same face. You have to try new stuff if you want to get a different result. Like, it doesn't always have to be that perfectly symmetrical pinup, like, or superhero face. Okay? People come in all shapes and sizes. All shapes and sizes. So if you learn what's inside your head instead of thinking about what's outside, learn to draw a skull. Just learn to draw a skull real fast. It takes 2 circles in a box. Well, 3 circles, I guess. That's all you need to learn to do. If you learn that, everything else comes a little bit easier. I tried a face challenge and got to 20. Yeah, I think we did 20 in just like the first 30 minutes. But again, I have 20 years on you. Brittany, I would love to see and share your work with other people if you feel like you want to, though. Like, if anybody wants to have me share your artwork on Instagram, if you guys learned anything, I have about almost 200,000 people there. So if you guys want to showcase your artwork to people, all you have to do is tag me on an Instagram story. Just tag me, RODGON the artist. And I will reshare that artwork with everybody, if it's appropriate, of course. You know, I'm not going to be like pushing like, you know, like not safe for work stuff for like my kid audience and stuff like that. That's just never going to happen. So just be careful with what you're sending. But if you guys do send me appropriate artwork, I will be more than happy to share it with my audience, which in part will help you guys grow yours. And we just become a big, happy family of people that get attention. Deal? My friends, with that being said, we are out of time and out of space for our sketch page today. Thank you so much for keeping me company today. We learned a lot today. We talked about faces, we talked about ratios, we talked about little exercises you guys can do to improve your drawing prowess when it comes down to drawing in different angles. Then we talked a little bit about the proportions of how you should be thinking about the steps to get from one to the other. You go 1 head, 3 the neck, and 4 the shoulders. Okay? That is the general ratios that you should keep in mind whenever you guys are drawing. And that's going to help you guys with your upper bodies. Then we talked a little bit about how you can just deconstruct things a little bit easier, how to understand the human structure in general, really quickly, how to pose arms through the compass at the top of your rib cage, that's a little egg, and how you can start seeing this basic structure for the anatomical senses, like the skull, and then just draw around your skull to be able to achieve the looks you want. Again, my drawings might be small, but the teachings are powerful. So I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely day, everybody. Enjoy your Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday today. Enjoy your Tuesday evenings. You guys, we drew this guy yesterday. That was cute. I like that one. I might finish this one like later on. Yeah, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight. If I can't sleep, I'll go on again. Can't resist going onto and streaming a little bit when I can't sleep. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, Faces, faces, highlighter. Ooh, highlighter is so cool. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Yeah, we're streaming tomorrow. 8:30 in the morning, everybody. See you guys then. Take care. And with a little bit of training, that could be you really soon. Okay? Love you all. Have a good one. See you guys soon.